In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to add book collaborators or editors to your Scribble account. Now, if you don't know, we're Scribble, an online writing tool designed to help authors finish their novels quicker. If you don't already have an account, I'll provide a link below so you can follow along this video. So let's jump in and talk about how to add book editors and collaborators to your account. So first and most importantly, anyone that you want to add as an editor or collaborator must have a Scribble account. Editors are not required to have a pro account, but if they don't have a pro account, they won't be able to add their own books. They'll only be able to edit the books that they're added as collaborators on. Now, to begin adding a collaborator, we'll head over to our account page by clicking on our avatar in the upper right corner here. And from here, we'll click on the Add Collaborators tab. We'll now add the email address for the person that we want to invite to edit our books. Now keep in mind that this email address needs to be the exact same email address that the collaborator used to sign up for their Scribble account. We'll then click on Invite. This user can now be seen below, and you'll see their avatar, how many books they're currently editing, and if you ever decide to remove them, you can do so here by clicking on this button for Remove Collaborator. However, at this point, the collaborator or editor doesn't have access to your books yet. Now, this is because we allow you to control which books your collaborators will have access to. Here, notice currently this collaborator is currently editing 0 books. So now let's go add them to a book so they can begin editing any book that we decide to give them access to. Now, over on our main books page, click on this little add person icon, which you'll see down here. Now, clicking on this icon will allow us to add or remove individual editors from a specific book. Now, adding a collaborator or editor to this book will only add them to this book within our catalog. They will not have access to any other books that we haven't given them access to. So after clicking on that icon, a pop-up will appear with a list of all of our specific accounts collaborators. Now currently I only have one collaborator, but here you can see that I can add them as an editor to this book here. Now I'll select Add Collaborator. If I ever want to remove them from having access to this book, I can simply click on this button again in order to remove their access. Now with them added to this book, I can go over to my main books editing page, and over in the right sidebar under collaborators, you'll now see 2 avatars. First, you'll see the main admin avatar here, but you'll also see an avatar related to the user that we just added to this book. Now if the user hasn't uploaded an avatar yet, you can always just roll over the avatar image here in order to see the email address associated with the collaborators within this book. Now this means that this collaborator can now log in and work on this book. Now it's very important to keep in mind that collaborators have full permission to edit your book. They can add and delete text, characters, worlds within your book. They can change around your plot structure, and they can pretty much do everything that you can do. So for this reason, it's really important that you trust the people you allow to edit your books, as you're giving them full control over the editing process. So be sure to be clear with them in terms of what you're looking for them to do. Do you want them to make changes within the text itself? If so, do you want them to use this highlight tool here to highlight their changes? Or do you only want them to add notes above or below the chapter? Or do you want them really not to touch the text at all, but only make notes over either in your scratch pad or your cut notes section, which are over in the sidebar here? Just be sure to be clear with your editors and collaborators in terms of what you expect them to do, as well as what you don't want them to do. At any time, you can remove a collaborator from any individual book by just clicking on this icon here, or you can remove them from your account by going over to your account page and removing them from here. Now notice here now, my collaborator is credited with collaborating on 1 book, and remember before they were credited with collaborating on 0. Now if we added them to more books, those changes would reflect here. This allows us to keep an eye on who's editing what. So now let's go see this from the collaborator's perspective. So once the collaborator logs in, this is the person essentially who we've given permission to edit our books, they'll be able to see the books that you've given them access to, but they'll only be able to see those books under the Collabs tab. They will not show up under the All Books tab. So anytime you add a collaborator to a new book, it will show up here for them. Now similarly, it will be removed from the collab section if you ever remove them from that book. So from this page, all they need to do is click on the book and they can start editing the book from here. So that's all I have for you today. Now in the next tutorial we publish, I'm going to walk you through a 6-stage self-editing process. So be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of our future tutorials. Also, for those of you who don't yet have a Scribble account, a link to Scribble can be found below. Thanks for stopping by today.